Welcome to the Man Fire Podcast, where we bring more fire to your life. This is episode number 6, Every Saturday Morning, How to Keep Score. Argentina won the World Cup on Sunday, and in my true lack of engagement in professional sports fashion, I didn't watch a single game. 15 years ago, I was working at an outdoor advertising agency as a sales assistant. That summer, I remember watching crowds of employees circling around a TV set in the break room, like a neutron star gathering atoms, until it reached critical mass and exploded at a key moment in the game, causing a manager to appear from nowhere to disperse the particles. Again, total games watched for the series, 0. In fact, the only time I really remember caring about who won a professional sports match was in 1998, when France hosted the World Cup. I was wrapping up my first year abroad and just happened to be flying home to the U.S. during the final match on an Air France flight. It was an interesting moment in time, you see, because France was actually playing in the final match. Before takeoff, the captain captured the spirit of excitement swimming through the cabin and, being the only person with radio contact to the outside world, no Wi-Fi in those days, he promised to keep us all posted as the game unfolded. I reclined in my seat and dozed off, more interested in being home than who won the next world title. End of the first quarter, halftime, third quarter, the captain reported in to his captive audience at regular intervals. And then, when the final score was announced, I finally cared about a professional sporting event for the first time in my life. France just won their first ever championship, and an entire 747 of Frenchmen jumped out of their seats in unison, mid-flight. I'm not sure how often this sort of thing happens, or if the FAA even has a column for it in their spreadsheets. But I'm fairly sure the good folks at Boeing did not stress test their aircraft for this particular scenario. Fortunately, the pilot must have been ready for the turbulence, because we sailed on through the air without a hitch, and Air France even gave us all a round of champagne to celebrate. Do you know which soccer games I did care about? The ones I played when I was a kid. The ones my parents took me to every Saturday morning until I was 18. The ones that my dad coached, week in and week out. Those were the games that taught me the hard lessons of winning and losing, and what the true score had to be for us to play our best. You see, season after season, we would wear new jerseys and occasionally replace our cleats, but the fact remained that we rarely won. Even when we gave it our best, we usually found ourselves huddled on the field after the final whistle, chanting for the other team, trying to keep a stiff upper lip. I can still remember my dad's hand mixed in with ours. It felt so big and strong compared to all the others, and it was the fortitude of his presence that carried us through the task. There was an even deeper lesson, though, that I learned from my dad, our coach, on those Saturday mornings. The score is always 0-0, he would tell us, because he knew that's how we would play our best game. He'd seen us score goals and pull ahead, only to find our cocky little minds ill-prepared for the resolve our opponents were about to unleash in return. He'd also felt the despair set in as we slipped behind and lost the hope and heart of reclaiming victory. My dad knew that nothing was ever as good as it seems, and that nothing was ever as bad as it seems. He knew the truth was always somewhere in the middle, that the score was always 0-0. I think my dad also knew that the most exciting part of the game for us was the beginning. Before anyone had scored, we knew anything was possible, and were on the tips of our toes waiting to see where the match would go. We were focused, passionate, ready to chase with zest any ball that went out of bounds so we could get right back into playing the game. Our hearts were in it, and they were in it to win with joy when the score was still 0-0. My dad isn't with me anymore on Saturday mornings, but he is, thankfully, still just a phone call away. I remember the words he taught us, though, and as a man, I try to start each day with them resonating in my heart. As the sun shines through my front windows in the morning, I have the opportunity to see that it is a brand new day with no successes or failures yet tallied. I can feel the excitement of the unknown ahead of me if I just take the time to open my heart to it. I want to take after my dad, see his strong hand at the center of our chant, and remember that the score is always 0-0. Please like, follow, and share this message on your favorite social media accounts. Visit manfiremovement.com for live events and workshops.